All right, welcome back to Fusion Friday. Today, what we're going to learn how to do is we're going to learn how to use a couple different new tools in Fusion to model out this light bulb. We're going to use the Canvas tool, which what that does is it actually creates almost a little template of what you want to create your solid 3D object out of for you to easily reference and sketch. And then we're going to use a new tool up in the Create tab called the Revolve tool in order to actually achieve our light bulb shape. So in our new document, the first thing that we want to do is we actually want to insert a canvas. So if you download the little picture of the light bulb that's included in the OneNote, what you'll be able to do is if you click on Insert Canvas, you can insert from your computer, and we could go ahead and open up our light bulb canvas. I want to create a canvas on my front sketch, so you'll see if I place it right there, it will kind of just place my light bulb canvas there. But what we want to do is we want to make sure that it's calibrated to the right height. So if we go into our canvas, if we go to our light bulb, we can right click on that canvas and then click calibrate. If we look then at the front face of our picture, we can click on the bottom of our canvas and on the bottom of our light bulb and the top of our light bulb. Right now it's set to about 22 millimeters, but a typical light bulb height is about 100 millimeters. So we'll go ahead and type 100. And now you'll see our canvas kind of blows up and becomes very large. Last thing I want to do before I kind of get started with sketching is I just want to align the bottom of my light bulb up with my origin as closely as possible. This isn't necessary, but I think it helps making your dimensions sketched a whole lot easier. So I'm just going to drag it up a little bit. And now the bottom of my light bulb is pretty in line with my origin. So I'll click OK. And now I have this canvas that I can kind of use as a guide when I'm creating my sketch. So I'll go over into Create Sketch, and I'll just create a sketch right on that same face. And now I can go ahead and hide my origin so it's not in my way. What I want to do is start with a line that just goes from the bottom and then goes straight up to the top of my light bulb. It's 100 millimeters. And I'll click OK. You always want to have, whenever we use the revolve feature, you are going to want to have a line that goes from the bottom to the very top of whatever shape you're trying to create. And I'll go ahead and give that line a dimension just so Fusion thinks it's fully constrained. And I'll open down my little sketch menu to check when things are fully constrained and when they're not. Now I'll start with that little kind of general shape. So I'll just kind of start with a circle. I'll just make it really any dimension for now. You'll see that it's close, but it's not quite there. So I can kind of take this shape and I'll make it a little bit larger. And that's the nice thing about having your sketches unconstrained for the meantime, is you could take it and you can click, hold on that line, and kind of expand it out to the place that you want it to be. That looks pretty good. So now what I could do is I can give my circle some dimensions. So I'll give it a dimension of 58, and now you'll see that this sketch is fully constrained. Now I'll kind of continue this process. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by just getting my shape. I'm not going to actually add in my dimensions yet, but I could take the line tool and just sort of outline the general shape of my light bulb. Okay, I'm going to actually skip these threads for now, and we'll come back to that later. But we'll go and we'll create our general shape, and now we have a fully closed shape. And then I could go back and I could add in some dimensions and see where I need to add the dimensions by clicking and dragging. So I know that I'll need to add a tangent constraint to this line here. I know that I'll want that to be tangent with my circle, and then I should just need to give it some dimensions from the points to my origin. Now that becomes fully constrained, and then I'll just continue that process. It's really helpful if you add the constraints to your origin, because then you could just kind of click, drag, and add in any dimensions that you need to. So this line is still not dimensioned, so to check where, I could click and drag it, and I see that it's kind of swaying from the top. It looks like my top point is kind of able to rotate. So I'm going to go ahead and undo that, and then I'll add a dimension from the top to the bottom. And it seems that's over constrained, so maybe that's not actually my point. Maybe I need to give it a length. There we go. Now I give it a length, and now my dimension is fully constrained. So it takes a little trial and error to figure out where your dimensions are and are not constrained in this process. But once you do that, you could get the shape of your light bulb that you have down and unable to be changed from this position. So we'll see, we're still working down the line. We've still got this last little guy that is unconstrained. And it seems that it would be unconstrained from right here. But it also might need to be constrained like that. There we go. Now I have a fully constrained sketch of my light bulb, which is great. The only thing I want to do now is with the revolve tool, we are only concerned with half of the shape of our light bulb. We actually don't want anything on this other half to do the revolve feature. So I'm going to come in, grab my trim tool, and just shave away that second half of the circle. Then I could go ahead and finish my sketch. And now that I have my sketch fully defined and all set and ready to go, I can use the revolve tool. So the way the revolve tool works is it takes a sketch that you have defined and then it revolves it 360 degrees around any axis that you choose. So if you click on the two objects that you have in your sketch as your profile, and then in your axis, if you select that middle line that we drew that's 100 millimeters long, you'll see that Fusion creates our kind of light bulb looking shape. We could go ahead and click OK. And now if we go ahead and we'll hide our canvas right now, you'll see we kind of have our light bulb looking shape. If you want to add more details to this, you can go ahead and we could add some threads, and we'll put the little thread tool just around this bottom portion. I'm not going to worry too much about the specifications for my light bulb, since this tutorial is just mainly a design feature inside of Fusion 360 instead of the technical specs. But if you were to need to add specific threads, you could change the thread size based on whatever kind of thread and screw that you need this light bulb to fit into. So I'll go ahead and click OK for now. And now you'll see the threads are in our light bulb, which is great. Now we have a really kind of light bulb looking solid. The last thing that I want to do is I just want to split this into two separate bodies. That way I can show that this top of the light bulb is glass and that this side of the bottom is the typical aluminum or brass or whatever material. So I'll go ahead and go to Modify. And under Modify, you'll see this Split Body command. So I'll go ahead and click that. And what I want to do is I want to split this body right down here. So that way I have two distinct bodies in my light bulb. So if I click on my body to split, I'll click on my whole light bulb. And my splitting tool, I just want to find a face right down here. And you'll see what that does is it creates this little red circle. What that's telling us is that Fusion is going to split this light bulb along that face so that this becomes its own separate body and this becomes its own separate body. We'll click OK. And now you'll see if we open down our bodies menu, we have two distinct bodies. Then we could go into our physical material and we can go ahead and find some glass and we'll just make the top of our light bulb just regular old glass, and you'll see that it makes it that kind of clear see-through color. And the bottom of our light bulb, we'll just go ahead and make it aluminum. And then we'll close. And that's how you can use the revolve feature and the canvas feature to create those kind of more complex rounded shapes